Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Before we go into your stories in detail, here's a look at the headlines.
President requests Supreme Court's opinion on ability to seek a third term. 6,815 people displaced as a result of cut failures and landslides. Operations at the Katunaik International Airport hampered by hours-long strike.
On to your stories in detail. President Mahinda Rajapaksa has sought an opinion from the Supreme Court as to whether there are any constitutional impediments preventing him from seeking a third term in office. A letter addressed by the Registrar of the Supreme Court to the President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka notes that the President has requested the Supreme Court to provide an opinion on or before the 10th of November.
The letter addressed by the Registrar of the Supreme Court to the President of the Bar Association also notes that the membership of the Bar Association will be able to make written submissions on the matter until 3 p.m. on the 7th of November. As per the letter, the President has posed the following questions to the Supreme Court. As per the letter, the President has posed the following questions to the Supreme Court.
Court. A. Whether in terms of Article 31, 3A(a)(1) of the Constitution, as amended by the 18th Amendment, I, as the incumbent President serving my second term of office as President, have any impediment after the expiration of 4 years from the date of commencement of my second term of office as President on 19th November 2010 to declare by proclamation my intention of appealing to the people for a mandate to hold office as President by election for a further term, and B. Whether in terms of the provisions of the Constitution as amended by the 18th Amendment, I, as the incumbent President serving my second term of office as President and was functioning as such on the date of the 18th Amendment was enacted, have any impediment to be elected for a further term in office. Unquote.
The Registrar of the Supreme Court also notes in his letter that requests for written submissions from the membership of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka have been made on the direction of the Chief Justice.
වැදගත් කරුණක් පැහැදිලි වුණා අපි මතු කරපු නීතිමය ප්‍රශ්නවල වැදගත්කමක් තියෙනවා. හරයක්.
This shows that there is a degree of importance to the legal points that we raised. He has accepted that there is a premise to the arguments that we have made. In truth, this is legal advice that he should obtain from his private counsel. We see the referral of this matter to the Supreme Court as the misuse of presidential power and the misuse of Article 129 of the Constitution. This will have several unfavorable consequences. We brought up this argument noting that at the suitable time, that is when President Mahinda Rajapaksa makes a proclamation that he is seeking a mandate, we would go to the Supreme Court, challenge the validity of the proclamation and seek an injunction on the Elections Commissioner, noting that it is illegal to call for an election based on this proclamation. This referral has completely blocked our legal right to do so. So this determination will be given by a 5-member bench of the Supreme Court, and in order to go beyond that, we will have to seek a 7-member bench. I see this as a cunning undertaking to prevent such a thing from happening.
ඊට අභිභාවයන්ට 7 දෙනෙක්වත් අඩු වශයෙන් අවශ්‍යයි. එතකොට එවැනි අවකාශයක් සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම අවහිර කිරීමේ සූක්ෂම වැඩපිළිවෙලක් ඇසෙට මම මේක දකින්නේ.
නාම යෝජනා බාර දෙන අවස්ථාවේ ඒ අවස්ථාවේදී මෙවැනි නඩුවක් දුනොත් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම සිදුවන්නේ ඒ නඩුව නිසා එම
When nominations are called for, if such a case persists, then what could happen is that nominations could be extended. So what I see is that the President has decided, as per the powers vested in him by the Constitution, to refer this matter to the Supreme Court before such a situation arises and give others too a chance to make submissions before the court gives an opinion. I do not see this as a major problem. It is a very simple matter. In the end, the final decision rests with the Supreme Court. It would have been good if more time had been granted for the stakeholders to make written submissions, but at the same time I believe that since this is a topic that has been discussed on the political stage and elsewhere for an extended period, the stakeholders will be able to make their submissions at short notice. This is a legal issue based on 2 provisions of the Constitution.
The Jatika Hello Rumia says that the government used a 2/3 majority to fill the needs of the president rather than the needs of the country.
A seminar under the title Democracy or Executive Presidency was held yesterday. A group including civil society activists, professionals and politicians were in attendance.
හැමෝම මේක වෙනස් කළ යුතුයි කියන මතේ ඉන්නවා. හැබැයි වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඇයි ඒ කියන ප්‍රශ්නෙට අපි උත්තරේ
Everyone is of the opinion that this must be changed, but it will never happen. Unfortunately, when you are in power, you cannot see your own mistakes. And when you see your own mistakes, you cannot be in power. This is where the problem lies. Although this government has had the power of a two-thirds majority for nearly 5 years, they have only fulfilled the needs of the president and have not used it to fulfill the needs of the country. We are trying now to complete this task before the two-thirds majority is lost. We can only do this if we threaten the constituent parties of the alliance that we will only pledge our support if this task is done.
තන කුටු කුටු ගානවා මේක හරි නෑ මේක වෙනස් වෙන්න ඕනි කියලා. හැබැයි කවුරුවත් මේක ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නේ නෑ. රජකඩුවට කැපෙයි කියන බය.
But no one is saying it in the open out of fear that they will be cut down by the king's sword. But we have taken the political risk and have brought this matter to the people. We have already made the statement that as a political movement with self-respect, we can no longer remain in this alliance if this amendment is not made.
The unity of the United People's Freedom Alliance is facing a decisive challenge. At the same time, the leftist and communist parties which support the government have seen internal conflicts arising. Nevertheless, we can see that there will be a major political transformation in the country in the future. We can see signs everywhere that the balance of power created in 2005 is facing a crisis situation.
This is the time when the executive presidency is being used in an extremely dreadful fashion. I do not think this has ever happened before. It is very ugly. This has been accompanied by a major collapse in society. So along with this collapse, what has happened is that they are unable to face the story that is being told. Youth unemployment has increased. If you look at it statistically, youth unemployment has increased. The rural economy has collapsed worse than we expected. This will definitely lead to a social riot. This social riot will not be determined by the leftist parties. This social riot will not be determined by the leftist parties. It will be decided by other social movements. All we can do then is watch people dying and people being destroyed. Therefore, the awakened sections of society have a responsibility to first ensure democracy and create an enabling environment for talks on political and economic points.
Whether we accept it or not, at present we are living in a semi-militarized state where to some extent we have the democratic right to vote. Many people will be uncomfortable when it comes to talking about this. There is a social situation where persons who attempt to intervene in the lives of the unawakened people are suppressed. The people who are here may be unaware of the extent of this oppression, but the chairman of the censor board told me that there was a request from the police to ban the film Kostapal Punyasoma.
Cabinet spokesperson Minister Kelly Rambukwela says that the request made by the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress for a separate administrative district in the eastern province will pave the way for the creation of another ethnic problem. The Sri Lanka Muslim Congress had passed this proposal at its annual convention.
The Sri Lanka Muslim Congress has requested the government to establish a separate administrative district in the Ampara district by joining electorates where the majority population are Muslims. The SLMC notes that they had forwarded 6 proposals, including the proposal for a separate administrative district for Muslims, to the General Secretary of the United People's Freedom Alliance, Susil Premajayantha, in 2012. Speaking to Newsfirst, Hassan Ali, who is the General Secretary of the Muslim Congress, said that he had inquired about the proposal from the General Secretary of the UPFA through a letter last week. He further said that this request is justifiable and refrained to comment on the matter further.
Parties who are involved in the substance of a political journey do make such requests when their membership demands for the implementation of such proposals. There is no problem in making requests. However, these requests should be made taking into account democracy and the country's constitution. We are not only empathetic towards the requests of political parties and the population, we also analyze them. Requests are implemented subsequently. A technical answer cannot be given in a week or two regarding the Kalmune area that they are referring to. This may pave the way for the creation of an ethnic problem, and issues may crop up in the entire administrative system. I cannot comment on this matter further.
This was one of the topics that was touched on during yesterday's parliamentary session.
මුස්ලිම් ජනතාව වෙනුවෙන්
This is a grave problem. I am saddened by the attempts made by the Muslim Congress to distance the Muslims from the Sinhalese. We don't think that the SLMC has worked for the Muslims. We talk on behalf of Muslims and represent them more than the SLMC. Prime Minister, we all have a responsibility to ensure that we put a stop to this trend. The government has a big responsibility to play. This is a bad trend. This will pave the way for conflicts to rise within the masses. I urge this House to ensure that we act responsibly at a time like this. We have to always look at the problems that may arise if we go to allocate provinces to all sects. If we allocate provinces, this country will undergo a major crisis. 99% of the people in this country want to live in a united country as Sri Lankans. This is my statement.
Meanwhile, issuing a statement, the JHU vehemently condemns the proposal put forward by the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress demanding a separate administrative district. The party notes that the SLMC is attempting to divide the country and pave the way for extremism and ethnic issues to raise its head again. The statement also notes that the JHU rejected the proposal of the SLMC put forward as a precondition to support the president at a presidential election.
It's nearly 3 years since the end of the Eastern Provincial Poll. The SLFP lost the provincial poll. Once this happened, Mahinda Rajapaksa turned to the SLMC for support. What did he tell Hassan Ali and Rauf Hakim? They signed an agreement stating that a separate administrative district will be allocated in Ampara. This agreement was signed by Susil Premajayantha. This is what they had requested for. Whether or not the SLMC leader supports the government, the people would not cast their ballot for the government at an election.
මැතිවරණයේ කොහොමඩක් මුස්ලිම් කොංග්‍රස් එක නායකයෝ හිතුවත් හරි ජනතාව ඡන්ද දෙන්නේ නැහැ ආණ්ඩුවට.
அம்பாறை மாவட்டத்தை இப்பொழுது ஸ்ரீலங்கா முஸ்லிம் காங்கிரஸ் கரையோர மாவட்டமாக
The Sri Lanka Muslim Congress has requested a separate administrative district for the Ampara district. Although they feel that their request is fair, we in the Tamil National Alliance do not think so. All this time we have been asking for a solution for the Tamil and Muslim people living in the northern and eastern parts of the country. This can be considered if a permanent solution is provided. The National Freedom Front, meanwhile, condemns the proposal made by the SLMC. The party states the proposal highlights the racist ideologies of the SLMC. The NFF urges the government not to fall prey to such traps. The party notes that the Muslim people should with wisdom understand the harm that is being caused to them by narrow-minded extremists who have secessionist dreams and work against unity and harmony.
Our efforts to contact the General Secretary of the United People's Freedom Alliance, Minister Susil Premajayantha, on the alleged agreement signed for the establishment of a separate administrative district in Ampara proved futile.
"63 families in Suryakanda Kolonna were evacuated due to the threat of landslides. The threat of landslides has forced authorities to evacuate a total of 1,744 families so far.
175 people of 63 families of the Egbird estate in Suryakanda Kolonna were evacuated last night. They have been relocated to the Suryakanda Tamil School. The Disaster Management Centre said that 4,363 people in the Puttalam district are affected by the prevalent weather conditions, while 190 people remain displaced. The DMC said that these people have been provided shelter at 4 displacement camps. Several areas in Chilau, including the Savarana, Maikolama and Alamba areas, still remain underwater. Chilau Divisional Secretary Rangana Fernando said that 1,350 families which come under the division's purview are affected. We have no way of cooking. We have been humbled. It will take at least another month for this water to recede. How will families here live on? Those who are evacuated in the Alla Administrative Division due to the threat of landslides are housed in 3 shelters. Assistant Divisional Secretary of Alla, MD Gayane Ranatunga, said that 165 people of 56 families have been temporarily housed at the Dover Sinhala College. The Assistant Divisional Secretary added that 149 people of 39 families who were housed at the Newburgh Tamil College have returned to their homes as the rains have ceased. 105 members of 29 families have been temporarily temporarily housed at the Galapita Kamda Tamil College in Balle Katua. The Disaster Management Centre says that a displacement camp has also been set up in Bandaravela due to the threat of landslides in the area. The Disaster Management Centre added that 6,813 people across 17 districts are displaced by the prevalent weather conditions. The landslide warning issued to the Kegol, Ratnapura, Kandy, Badulla, Nora Elia, Matale and Kalutura districts is still in effect.
Search operations for those missing in the Koslanda landslide continued for the 8th day today.
Search operations commenced this morning after water streams which emerged over the past few days hampering the operations were blocked. You might have seen in the footage we had over the past few days that following the landslide in Koslanda, a large stream of water has been flowing from uphill. This has hampered rescue operations for those missing. A significant feature in today's operations were that relief workers and members of the armed forces were working tirelessly to block the stream of water to conduct the search operation. Although search operations commence every morning, rescue officials have been compelled to suspend their search operations by 4:30 p.m. daily due to the persisting bad weather in the area.
Security Forces Commander Central Major General Mano Pereira says immediate measures will be taken to provide temporary housing to those who were displaced by the Koslanda landslide.
Those who were displaced by the Koslanda landslide have been housed at the Punagala Tamil College and a few other camps. A decision has been taken to temporarily house these people at the Markanda tea factory in Ampitikanda.
We came here after losing our homes in Miriabadda and now they're going to put us in a tea factory in Markanda. This factory was closed for around 25 years and now it is dilapidating. How can we live there with children? Who is going to be held accountable for us when we are there? If there isn't anyone, we do not want to go there.
Special attention has been focused on the 63 families that have been directly impacted by the landslide. Overall, over 450 families are currently displaced. The army is currently renovating an old building at the Ampitikanda tea estate in Punagala for those 63 families to be given temporary housing. Moreover, the respective divisional secretariat officials are also in the process of locating safe lands for these families which are not prone to landslides. The moment these lands have been identified, the army is ready to come forward to construct houses for these families.
Meanwhile, leader of the National Unity Front, Azad Saleh, expressed the following views at a media briefing convened today.
What have they done now? They have gone and placed the people of Koslanda in schools. At the same time, they want to reopen these schools. Now they are preparing to bring these people to a tea factory. Please do not do this. What we have to say right now is that these people should be moved out of this place only after they have been provided with a suitable environment to live in. When the president comes to an area, thousands of people are brought from everywhere in CTB buses free of charge. So why can't this money be utilized by providing decent temporary housing for these 62 families and after around 3 or 6 months, resettle them in proper houses?
Operations at the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayake were halted for a couple of hours this morning owing to a strike action by a group of employees at the airport.
The protesters, who put forth 5 demands, also took control of the powerhouse at the airport. Passengers were inconvenienced due to this. The employees were demanding a salary increment of Rs 10,000. Meanwhile, other demands included a systematic medical insurance, provision of 4% of distress loans, for the recruitment of employees on the father and son basis to be 10% of recruitments, and a disciplinary inquiry into the actions of the new head of security.
Problem is we are standing here from last half an hour. There is no electricity, power cut, no backup system also. So all the passengers are standing waiting for the flight. Very difficult.
We are very much in trouble because there is no electricity.
Trade unions said that the Civil Aviation Minister Piyankala Jayaratne has agreed to meet the demands during discussions. Operations continued as employees returned to work.
Speaking in Parliament yesterday, TNA parliamentarian group leader R. Sambandhan said that denying Sri Lankan citizens the right to testify before the UN Commission of Inquiry would be a violation of their fundamental rights.
Citizens of this country who are possessed of the knowledge and information and who are able and willing to testify before the international investigators in regard to what happened to them and their compatriots are being denied their legitimate right to do so. It is the denial of their fundamental rights as citizens of this country. It is also a blatant denial of their right to justice. Meanwhile, the Sri Lankan government, through persons in authority, have been publicly stating that anyone who testifies before or assists the investigation in any way will be violating Sri Lanka's constitution or its laws and would be prosecuted. This is clearly intended to intimidate witnesses and prevent them from making available information or giving evidence on matters within their knowledge and that are known to them. I wish to post a question whether such action would be in the long-term interest of this country, though it may be that it would serve the short-term interests of some individuals. No witnesses and victims protection law exists in this country.
We have a commission here where they have received more than 20,000 submissions. Now these are credible submissions, Honorable Sambandhan. 20,000 affected people, this commission has gone from house to house, from village to village, seeking this. Look at the aspect of credibility vis-a-vis what is happening somewhere else on a different agenda. Accept the credibility of the Disappearances Commission. It is 20,000 people who you live amongst that has gone to that commission and said, so and so my next of kin is missing. So why not accept that? Why are you alienating those people?
The president of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Pulja Surya, says that the Ministry of External Affairs is working for the needs of various individuals. He says that the attempt to cover up the controversy surrounding the contract awarded for the refurbishment of the official residence of the permanent representative in Geneva is an example of this.
මේ කටයුතු දීලා තියෙනෙත් අදත් විදේශ කටයුතු අමාත්‍යාංශයේ බලගත්තු වගකීමක් දරන කාන්තාවක් විසින්.
This was awarded by a powerful woman in the foreign ministry. No inquiries have been made from her. How is it that her husband was able to award the contract? Was it the woman or the woman's husband that was appointed as ambassador? This makes it clear that the foreign minister and the foreign ministry are working to fulfill the needs of various individuals. If they have come to a level where they waste public funds and betray the country, then it is extremely dangerous.
රට සහ ජාතිය පාවාදන තත්ත්වයට පත් වෙනවා නම් ඒක තමයි භයානක තත්ත්වයක්.
අපේ රටට පැහැදිලි විදේශ ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් නැහැ. අද වර්තමාන විදේශ අමාත්‍යාංශය දිහා බැලුවම අපිට පේන්නේ කනේ පහරවල් ගහන කම්මුල් පහරවල්.
Money is being paid to LTTE members to renovate the permanent mission in Geneva. When we raise questions about this in Parliament, the Foreign Minister shamelessly comes to Parliament and speaks on behalf of the LTTE members. Foreign Minister G.L. Pires has today become the primary representative in Parliament of the terrorists who wanted to break this country apart into little pieces. This, my friends, is how the government representatives, filled to the brim with love for the country and patriotism, are defending this nation.
A protest commenced by small-scale fishermen in the shallow sea areas in Negombo ended today.
Over the past few days, fishermen in Negombo had protested, claiming that the influx to the local market of fish caught in other parts of the country, including the south, had led to a rapid decline in the price of fish. Discussions were held this morning at the St. Mary's Catholic Church between priests, fishermen, Deputy Minister of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Development Sarath Kumara Gunaratne and Western Province Minister Nimal Lanka. They highlighted the issues they are facing at this discussion, but it led to a tense situation. Newsfirst made inquiries from Deputy Minister Sarath Gunaratne.
They agreed to return to sea tomorrow, and with regard to the problem of those selling dried fish, they noted that they would not stage any protests for a week until the Cardinal and the President can meet and resolve the issues surrounding the fish that is being brought in from other areas. All demonstrations have been stopped.
Minister Lakshman Yapa Abhiwardena made clarifications at a media briefing convened today regarding a consignment of bicycles that had been sent to his foundation from Japan. He says that the bicycles were brought in as per the accepted procedure.
මාතර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයෙන් ගියපු තරුණයෙක් ඉන්නවා කරුණාරත්න කියලා. ඒ තරුණයා ජපානයේ ඉන්නේ. ඒ තරුණයා අපිට බයිසිකල් 200ක් එව්වා ඉස්කෝලේ යන දරුවන්ට.
There is a young man from Matra named Karunaratna who is currently in Japan. He sends us bicycles. He sent us 200 bicycles for school children. 157 bicycles were put into one container and there were 43 left. A container cannot be filled with 43. So the 43 were put into a 10 by 10 container and brought here. This was done with clarity as per the accepted procedure. It was given to the private company HS Cargo. They were the ones who took the steps to have the consignment released using my money. Taxes to the tune of 430,000 have been paid.
Bicycle you
can read the customs report. It has been certified by the 2 customs officers who inspected it and by the customs director. There are only 200 bicycles and they have certified that there was nothing else. There is a customs spokesperson, so any questions for the customs should be posted to the customs spokesperson.
Ministers 2 content release suspicion. Then මාධ්‍ය ප්‍රකාශකයනේ. දැන් ඕනම රේගු ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහනකොට මේ මාධ්‍ය ප්‍රකාශකයන් අහන්න ඕන සාමාන්‍යයෙන්. මොකද්ද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා රේගුවේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් දාන්න.
The opposition alleges that the amendment to increase estimated government expenditure by 356 billion rupees within 2 weeks of the 2015 budget speech poses many problems. Members of the opposition say that a supplementary estimate has been put forward to increase estimated government expenditure from 1,812 billion rupees to 2,168 billion rupees. The government, on the other hand, says that it is normal to change estimated government expenditure.
Making එකදයක් පැහැදිලි Sri Lanka
This clearly denigrates Sri Lanka's parliament. This government is showing scant regard for the budget that is presented in parliament and is thinking along the lines that the treasury is a personal inheritance. That is why they are doing this. We debate about various points including the budget deficit, the economic growth rate and whether the allocations for the various ministries are enough or too much. We debate on this regarding the budget that was presented to us. The problem is that while we are debating, the government has raised the debt ceiling by 440 billion. One point is extremely clear. When the budget is adopted, the people will have a larger tax burden than they hoped for.
මේ අයවැයෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවට වඩා වැඩියෙන් බදු බර පටවනවා.
මේ අයවැයෙන් කරලා තියෙන්නේ රුපියල් 500 ගානේ 15000කට ශිෂ්‍යත්ව දෙන්න.
The president came to parliament and said that scholarships amounting to 500 will be given to 15,000 students and that after all the budget documents are compiled, he proposed that 25,000 should be given to 1,500 each. When such proposals are made, all the budget estimates change. So when it changes, if we change the expenditure, then there will not be enough money. It is because of this that parliamentary traditions across the world have supplementary estimates.
පරිපූර්ණක ඇස්ටිමේට්ුවක් ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න ඕනේ ඒක හංගන්න බෑ.
Especially they are heading towards an election and then they want to, think about the people's popularity and then getting more votes and giving more incentives to the general public. That might be the reason for the policymakers to rush their calculations and then make mistakes. I don't know whether it's a mistake, but if not, maybe they have something more to the public.
An election is at hand. The single largest political party in the country, the main opposition, is silent. What is the reason for the 28 election defeats over 17 years? Should the party continue to bow down to the dictatorial leadership? Everyone has a right to the party. There must be a broad-based devolution of powers. If victory is to be achieved, the UNP National Executive Committee must be empowered. The giant working committee must be shrunk. Win or lose, the leader will not have any problem. The problem will be faced by the UNPers and the country. Let us get ready for an election. UNP supporters, let us rise.
We reported earlier that the President had sought a determination from the Supreme Court on his ability to seek a third term of office as President. We also brought you the views of former Chief Justice Sarathan Silva and senior lawyer Gomindasiri on this subject. Speaking to News First this evening, attorney at law Krishmal Varnasuriya had this to say.
That under Article 121(1), when such a question is referred, the language of the section is that the court may, after such hearing as it thinks fit, then the language used in Article 129(4) is every proceeding under paragraph 1 above. So this to me insinuates a hearing, a proceeding of some nature. Of course, the Supreme Court has the right in under Article 129(4) to limit the hearing, and that it shall be held in private. So like we do say, for example, when mine is involved, the court can be held in camera where it's only the lawyers and the judges. Now the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, in a separate message to us, has informed us. Now this letter says that I shall be pleased if you could inform the membership that written submissions in respect of the above question will be entertained at the registry, and it has been given a deadline of Friday. So the Bar Association membership, any member of the Bar, my reading of this letter is any member of the Bar wishing to make a submission may do so. However, it is once again my very humble opinion that a matter of this public importance, of national importance, we must not limit, say, only to the Bar or only to a limited segment of people, because it is a people's sovereign judicial power that is being discussed. And that hearing that I referred to earlier must in some form take all other factions of society, such as political parties, people who have interest in the matter, must also be heard when determining this question. Why I make that opinion that such a public consensus on this matter or a public hearing is necessary in this matter is we must remember that the power to even Article 129 flows from Article 3, sovereign power of the Sri Lankan people. It is that sovereign power that is given in Article 4 to be to adjudicated through court systems. So it's a people's judicial power. So since it's a people's judicial power and the people's executive power that we are discussing, I feel this is an appropriate occasion for such an hearing to be granted for all interested people and not just selected segments like the Bar Association or the doctors or whoever, but a consensus to be taken from all stakeholders, because we are discussing the people's sovereign power.
UNP MP Buddhika Pathirana says that politics has been destroyed by traitors who cross over. The parliamentarian made this statement at an event held in Akmeeman in Mathura today to donate food packs to undernourished children.
Apparently, the government is gearing up for a national election. This is the time when you can sit back and watch who jumps from this party to that party out of greed. The politics in this country has been destroyed because of traitors who cross over.
නිල් පාටෙන් රතු පාටෙන් නිල් පාටෙන් කොළ පාටෙන් නිල් පාටට එහෙම මෙහාට පනින දේශපාලන ගෙම්බෝ ඇටිකිත්තෝ නිසා තමයි මේ දේශපාලන ක්‍රමයම එකම නරාවලක් වෙන්න ප්‍රධාන හේතුවක් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
In international news, the Republicans have won control of the Senate in the U.S. midterm elections, increasing their power in the final 2 years of Barack Obama's presidency. The party won in Arkansas, Colorado, Iowa, Montana, North Carolina, South Dakota and West Virginia. And it is expected to post more gains as votes are counted in other states.
The party rolled up big victories in yesterday's midterm elections, including for Mitch McConnell in Kentucky, who will now replace Democrat Harry Reid as Senate Majority Leader.
Friends, this experiment in big government has lasted long enough. It's time to go in a new direction.
The Republicans needed 6 seats to take a majority in the 100-member Senate. A win by Colorado Congressman Cory Gardner over Democratic incumbent Mark Udall helped put them over the top.
Tomorrow we go to work to fix a Washington that is out of step, out of touch, and out of time.
They also picked up Democratic seats in Montana, West Virginia, South Dakota and Arkansas. When the new Congress gets to work in January, the Republicans will have a majority in both chambers for the first time since elections in 2006. For President Obama, yesterday's results will complicate his remaining 2 years in office, forcing him to scale back his legislative agenda. Republicans will also be under pressure to show they are capable of governing as they look to take back the White House in 2016.
Well, over in Georgia, Republican nominee David Perdue defeated Democratic challenger Michelle Nunn and Libertarian Amanda Swofford to win Georgia's open U.S. Senate seat. Perdue won more than 50% of the vote, avoiding an unexpected runoff between himself and Nunn, which is scheduled for the 6th of January 2015. So this means there will be no elections or runoffs in January 2015. The 2014 Senate race is businessman Perdue's first foray into national politics. Now, Perdue held executive positions at top companies such as footwear and Dollar General and some chemical factories as well before starting his own firm in 2011. He is also known for his Wall Street connections and economic acumen. Perdue received the support from former GOP presidential candidate Mitt Romney, who was also present at the Republican Party last night to show his support to David Perdue. I'm Zulfikar Farzan, reporting from Georgia.
And on sports first, Angelo Matthews was named the captain of the World Test cricket team by the ICC today.
Among those included in the squad were Sri Lanka's Kumar Sangakkara and Rangana Herath. Meanwhile, Kumar Sangakkara and captain Angelo Matthews were also nominated for the Sir Garfield Sobers Trophy for the ICC Cricketer of the Year and the Test Player of the Year awards. However, the ICC official website revealed that Bhuvaneshwar Kumar of India claimed the ICC People's Choice Award, and among the nominations in this category was Sri Lanka cricket captain Angelo Matthews.
CCTV footage captured a robbery that took place at a bicycle shop in Galle on the 1st of this month.
We leave you tonight with this series of images sent by Newsfirst reporter Kaswan Karnatilaka from Galle. With that, we wrap up primetime news for tonight. I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
And I'm Shane Silva. Take care and good night.
Thank you.